If you're starting an online business and you're afraid you might make one of these mistakes, or you want to avoid mistakes so that way you can make the most amount of money right away, in this video, I'm going to cover the top mistakes that most people make when starting an online business so that way you can avoid them. And before I get into it, I just want to say everything that I'm going to cover is for people who want to make the most amount of money with their online business. So if your goal is to make it to like the top 500 Fortune companies and you want to build like a massive brand like Starbucks or McDonald's or Nike, this video isn't necessarily for you. But if you're somebody who's like, hey, I want to make an additional $5,000 a month, $10,000, I want to make it into a full-time income, this video is going to prevent you from making mistakes that most people make when they're starting their online business. And I personally built a multi-six-figure business in my 20s, and I want to say 90% of all the income that I brought in was profit. So this is coming from somebody who actually built her own business in her 20s, okay? So let's get into it. I don't want to waste any more time. The first thing that you want to avoid when starting your own online business is staying away from businesses that actually require a lot of capital to start off with. Now, yes, there are some online businesses where you do have to put money up front in order for that business to even start creating products, right? So one of the main businesses that requires so much capital is actually e-commerce if you're creating your own product. Now, that can seem really fun, creating your own product. Maybe you have an idea, maybe you see somebody else, selling a product, it's selling really well, and you want to create your own version. The reason why that's not necessarily one of the best businesses to start, and one of the biggest mistakes people make, is because they put so much money into the actual product itself, into manufacturing, into design, into hiring, other people to market it. Like, they put so much money into even like getting a warehouse for their products, and then when they actually launch, they figure out all of the upfront costs and even the overhead that they have to pay every single month to actually hold those products at a warehouse or somewhere else. That basically cuts into the actual profits that they're making. So for an example, if you're selling a product that's maybe on average $25 per order, that might cut down to you only profiting like $8 to $10 because you already have so much overhead. And if you love watching Shark Tank like me, that happens to a lot of businesses. They might be making millions a year, but they're only taking home $100,000, right? So that's one of the biggest mistakes, and something that you want to avoid is don't get into a business like this if, once again, your main goal right now is to just generate a lot of money for yourself. Now, some other businesses that might require a lot of capital upfront are either like startups, like software startups, tech startups, because if you're starting up and you're creating, once again, a software tech, there's a lot of coding involved. And most of the time you don't know how to do it yourself. So you have to hire someone to actually code the website, create the app, whatever else that, kind of goes into creating a startup. And that can be like, once again, thousands of dollars into a business that's not even making you money right away. And also SaaS products, once again, it's kind of similar with startups if it's in that industry, but SaaS is basically software as a service, right? So this is similar to things like Go High Level, ClickFunnels, Active Campaign, basically software CRMs where it is a service, but once again, it's more a software, so it's not necessarily like a physical product or something one-on-one that you're selling. Now, the second thing you want to avoid when it comes to starting your own online business, it kind of goes hand in hand with the first thing that I mentioned of putting too much capital into your business to start off with, but starting businesses that have really low margins. Now, some businesses, you might not have to put any capital up front, but you're still getting low margins. And one of these are drop shipping, okay? And I know this because I actually did drop shipping for, I want to say, maybe 3 to 4 months. I made money, but the money was very, very low. Now, if you're not familiar with drop shipping, it's very similar to e-commerce, but instead of creating your own products, housing it at a warehouse yourself, you're basically using a third-party company to basically find products that they have in their warehouse, and all you're doing is basically getting the client, notifying them that like, hey, I have a purchase order. They're the one that packages, delivers it, and then actually ships it to your client. So in terms of cutting down costs, if you want to do e-commerce, drop shipping is probably a better route to go with. But in terms of the profit margins, you're still not really making that much, especially if you're selling a product that's maybe only like, once again, like $20, like $20 to $50, even anything less than $100. Sometimes the third party company, they take a lot of the cut because once again, they're doing most of the work, right? So at the end of the day, if you're selling something that's $35, you might only be profiting $10 or $15, once again, depending on what third party you're using for drop shipping. Now, another business that has low profit margins is affiliate marketing. And I talk about affiliate marketing a lot. I think it's a great like side business to have if you want to make some money. But if you're somebody who's like, I want to make a full-time income, I want to make a lot of money, affiliate marketing just doesn't make you that much, once again, depending on the type of product that you're actually promoting. Now, there's dozens of products that you can promote that you can actually make a lot of money. And usually these products are, thousands of dollars that you can promote. And then you also get a cut, which is probably like $1,000. But the majority of affiliate marketing companies and products that you see people promoting on social media, they're a low ticket. So meaning they're less than $100 or they're only a few $100s. And usually affiliate marketing companies, they're only giving you like 20% of that product. So for an example, if you're selling something that's $100, you're only making $20 profit, right? That's it. So if you think about it, you need a lot of traffic coming in and a lot of conversion for you to actually make a lot of money with that type of business. So if you see a lot of people saying, hey, you can make millions and you can make a six-figure income doing affiliate marketing, you can, but you need the right type of product. Like, don't go after the low ticket products. Otherwise, you're going to need to have so much traffic and you're going to need to make sure you have a lot of conversion in order for you to sustain it. Now, another business that a lot of you might be shocked by that I'm going to say that doesn't necessarily have that high profit margins is content creators. Now, hear me out. This does not mean content creators that are selling their own products, that are doing brand deals, and maybe they are doing affiliate marketing on the side. I'm talking about content creators that only rely on the social media platform for them to pay them. So this is, once again, especially on TikTok and on Instagram, if you're a content creator and you're relying on the platform for them to pay you money based on what you're posting, you're not going to make much, okay? Once again, this is very situational. If you have hundreds of thousands of followers, yes, you can make a good amount of money doing content creation, but if you're solely relying on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok monetization to make money, odds are you're probably only going to make a few $100s a month if you're lucky, maybe over $1,000. Once again, if you have good engagement, you have a lot of views, a lot of followers, but solely relying on social media platforms to pay you money is not the route to go. However, if it is something like YouTube, right, that's a whole different story because they actually pay their creators like a good amount of money, right? But anything else when it comes to content creators, don't recommend it. That's why I always say create your own digital product, have your own service, because that is how you make the most amount of money. Now, the third thing that you want to avoid and not make this mistake when it comes to starting your own online business is going way too broad when it comes to your target market and your ideal client. Because we all know when we start our online business, we're like, oh, we want to serve everybody because if we target everybody, we're going to make the most sales. But that couldn't be further from the truth. You want to keep in mind the businesses that are the most successful, they have a specific client that they're always targeting. So for an example, if you have a product that's specifically focused on helping people not get anxiety when they go travel, like when they're on an airplane, they get anxiety, and you have this like supplement where if you take it, it just relieves your anxiety. If you target everybody, it's not going to sell because not everybody experiences that problem. But if you focus on one individual, you talk about the problems they experience, how they feel when they're actually experiencing them, how they could feel if they actually take this supplement, guess what? You're going to be getting a lot more clients because it's much more specific on who you're actually targeting. So don't go too broad because once again, it's not about serving everybody. It's about serving the right type of customer and the right type of person. And I want to say before you even launch a product, what I recommend doing is doing focus groups. Talk to people that are your ideal clients and see, would this be something that they would actually buy? And talk to people that are also not your target market and see why they wouldn't buy it, because odds are, once again, they don't have the problem that your product actually provides a solution for. Now, number 4 is doing way too many marketing strategies and not zoning in and focusing on one. Now, once again, it's really exciting to start your own business, right? And it's really exciting to learn all the different marketing strategies, right? You can market on Instagram, you can market on Facebook, on TikTok, there's YouTube, you can do email marketing, text messaging, you can send flyers. Like there's so much to do, but I highly recommend focusing on one because what I call it is basically like the circle of focus. So if you think of a circle and if you have your focus on one specific thing, 100% of that circle is once again focused on that one thing. But if you split it in half, that 100% focus is now 50% focus on one area and 50% focus on another area. Now, if you cut that also in half, now it's 25% focus on 4 different areas. If you keep going, that focus is no longer 100% in one area. Therefore, you're not getting great results. So I always say, one marketing strategy until you reach $100,000 in your business. Until you reach that mark, you shouldn't be trying a whole bunch of different strategies because it's just going to take away your attention, your focus. And to be honest, it's really going to overwhelm you because no matter what strategy you use, it's going to work. Okay, people have made millions of dollars doing email marketing, only email marketing. People have made millions of dollars only by attending networking events, right? So it's not necessarily about how many different type of strategies you're doing, but zoning in on one that you want to focus on. Now, the last mistake that you want to avoid is not staying consistent in your business and flip-flopping. And there's so many different layers to this, but the first thing is not staying consistent, meaning just only doing your business for like a few days, a few weeks, a few months, and not seeing the results you want fast enough and then quitting. Like, don't do that because you want to keep in mind if you're building a business where you want a full-time income for the rest of your life and you're only spending 6 months, a year, 2, 3 years, how does that add up, right? It's like you want a business and you want an income that's going to last you probably like 50, 60, 70 years, but you're giving up after 6 months. Just doesn't work that way. Now, the other thing when it comes to consistency, you don't want to be flip-flopping when it comes to marketing strategies and then even different businesses because we all know there's something called shiny object syndrome. It's like you see someone else start a new business, do a different project. Maybe you see a new feature that comes out on Facebook and you're like, oh, I want to try it. And then all of a sudden you're doing this new thing and then you forget about the business and the marketing strategy that you were actually going to commit to doing, right? So don't do that because it ends up being like you're starting so many different things, but you never finish it. And then of course you don't really have a business and you don't have an income that's actually consistent. So don't do the flip-flopping, okay? It's not really going to help you when it comes to building your online business. So those are the top 5 things that you want to avoid and the mistakes that you don't want to do when it comes to starting your online business. But if you want me to create a video on the top things that you should be doing when it comes to starting your online business to make sure you make the most amount of money, the most amount of impact, comment below, let me know, and I'll make sure to make that for you guys. And that's all for this video. As always, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Share this with somebody who is also starting their online business or they're maybe thinking to, so that way they don't make these same mistakes, okay? So I love you guys so much, and until next time, make sure that you stay unforgettable.